Is your child starting primary school or getting ready to go to high school? You will need to start looking for schools where you would like to send your child. The Gauteng Department of Education has made this simple and fair by creating an online admissions application which guides you through a step-by-step process, keeping you informed all the way. This online application is meant only for learners going into Grade 1 and Grade 8. Please note that the online application is the only official application. No school can issue any other official registration forms. For the 2020 school year, it will open on the 20th of May 2019 at 8 a.m. and close on the 22nd of July. Please be aware that the school admissions process is made up of 3 separate phases. These are the registration and application phase. This is when parents complete the online application. Next is the placement phase. This is when applicants are made offers of placement by schools, in line with qualifying criteria and availability of space. The applicant must accept an offer in order to be placed. Lastly is admission to a school. After finalizing the placement phase, the child is admitted to a school. To use this online admissions application, you first need to register and create a profile. To do this, go to www.gdeadmissions.gov.za and click Apply for 2020 in the middle of the page, or click Register. Remember to read the admissions and feeder zone regulations found in the menu bar under Policies and Regulations. You must also accept the terms and conditions in order to continue. You will need to provide a valid and reliable cell phone number where your username and password will be sent. You must keep these details safe. To complete the application, you must follow these 3 simple steps. Firstly, fill in your details, then your child's details. If your child is going into Grade 8, please make sure that you fill in his or her current school. Then lastly, you can apply to a school. Please remember to select your child's name from the drop-down box. You can apply to a maximum of 5 schools per child. The online admissions process looks at various criteria to determine which school is best for your child. The criteria are ranked here in order of priority. First is the area where you live. Preference will be given to learners who live closest to the school within the feeder zone. Second, learners who have a brother or sister in the school you want to apply to, as long as that sibling is not in Grade 7 or Grade 12. Third, if the place of employment of at least one of the learner's parents is within the feeder zone of the school. Fourth, if the applicant learner's place of residence is within a 30-kilometer radius of the school. Fifth, if the learner wants to be placed in a school of focused learning. And lastly, if the applicant learner's place of residence is beyond a 30-kilometer radius of the school. Please remember that schools have a limited number of learners that they can take in every year. It is therefore very important to get your applications in as early as possible to ensure a place in the school. When you have completed the application, you will receive a waiting list reference number as confirmation that the application has been successfully submitted. This will be sent to the cell phone number you provided earlier. If the reference number starts with WA1, this means that your selection meets the requirements for Preference 1. You live closest to the school in the feeder zone. WA2 means that you meet the requirements for Preference 2. You have a sibling in the school. WA3 means that you meet the requirements for Preference 3. You work within a feeder zone of a school. WA4 means that you meet the requirements for Preference 4. You apply to a school within a 30-kilometer radius of where you live. A WA5 means that you meet the requirements for Preference 5. You applied to a school for focused learning. And a WB means that you applied to a school beyond a 30-kilometer radius of where you live. A learner with a WA1 will get preference before a learner with a WA2. A learner with a WA2 will get preference before a learner with a WA3, and so on. The waiting list reference number will also include a list of the required documents that you need to take to the school you have applied to. It is important that you submit these documents within 7 school days. If you do not do this, your child will not be eligible to go to that school. You can now apply to other schools using the same online process. The system will now process all of the applications that have been submitted, and based on the information provided, will allocate learners to the various schools. In time, you will receive notification of which schools you have been allocated to. Once an offer has been made by a school, you need to log into the portal and click Accept. Only once this has been done has your child officially been accepted at that school.